the seasons change, we remain. Introducing the Art for Change podcast gang. The intellectual Mr. Sapiosexual. That's all you gotta do, be you. Montana Cobain pulling up in the truck. And Lady Alba with the glamorous power touch. We stream live at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Soul Food Sunday, Motion Monday, and Therapeutic Thursday. And some days in between, switch hit. Subscribe and bell on so you don't miss it. But if you do, we on repeat on every major podcast application. Interviews galore and more. Y'all know the situation. So book your seat when we turn up the heat with your Art for Change.
Hey, and we are live. Hey, what's going on, Art Through This and Change Makers? Yes, y'all. This is another episode of Art for Change podcast. Today it's Motion Monday, and I am your host, Mr. Sapiosexual, and my co-host in the building.
You already know it's your boy BU, because that's all you got to motherfucking do is BU. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Lady Alba in the house.
And the Queen, Lady Alba. Yes. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm much better. How y'all doing?
Blessed and highly favored. How was everybody's weekend?
It was a good weekend. It was actually a good work day, a good Monday, actually. I think I got home at like 11.
Oh, you had a good day, huh, my boy?
From like 8 to 11. So it was like 3 hours, you know. So yeah, it was a good day, good weekend. I didn't do shit this weekend actually. I was in the house the whole weekend.
You got to relax a little bit.
Yeah, I ain't doing nothing. Just chill, watch TV. That UM game on right now too. That national championship college football. But yeah, it was chill.
Oh yeah, who you going for? You got a team you going for?
Miami.
He said, Miami.
I mean. Yeah, it's obvious.
Well, for the people who don't know, that Mr. BU is from Florida, y'all. So yeah, he's from Miami. So he's definitely rooting for his hometown in the championship right now. Lady Alba, how was your weekend?
Ooh,
God bless you.
exhausting, very worrisome, very emotional, and grieving. Yeah, we had the celebration of life for my aunt on Sunday. Prior to that, my father I had to get him back to the hospital Thursday night, Friday morning, after midnight, Thursday night, Friday morning. And things escalated for him, but now they're de-escalated because some things he's doing better. He got intubated. He's not intubated anymore. Very, very, very trying time, Got one that's we know is gone, the other one we don't know what's happening yet, So 2 elders, But I'm learning more in these circumstances and situations. I feel totally exhausted, as like when you're nauseated, you're so tired, But I'm still determined to keep the level and live life. So here I am tonight, because I was like, maybe, but why not? Keep that level. I can grow in that, because it's gonna be more to come as long as I'm living. It's gonna be more to come. So
yes, ma'am.
That's
yes,
it.
Ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Our condolences for your family and our prayers for your trying time.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Most definitely.
Definitely, yes.
Thank you.
Today is Martin Luther King Day for some of y'all children. Some of y'all parents, y'all might know y'all kids is at home today. uh, yes, but for people who do not know, workers like ourselves who don't get days off for Martin Luther King Day, today is actually Martin Luther King Day, ladies and gentlemen. We just recently had a birthday. So in tribute to Dr. King, we're gonna watch the "I Have a Dream" speech, and then we're gonna get into some topics about some of his mission and things of his legacy. Yeah.
Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. This nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is a faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, "My country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. Not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring. And when this happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Was there any part of that speech that is new to you?
No. I remember hearing that, I think, in school before. I'm surprised, actually, to say that, because I doubt they'll play it nowadays in school.
Yeah. Lady Allen.
I say no to none of it is new because we've heard it all our lives. But did it all, every portion of it register? If you're asking in that sense, what's new, what is new to my ears today, this moment as we are here and we listen to it, there were a couple of things that were new to me, to my ears, in receiving it again today.
Right. Same.
Huh?
I said right. Same.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Um, Speaking on Dr. King, how do you think Dr. King would feel about the current state of racial equality in America today?
I mean, he died before he got to see the split, right? I think he did die before. So I mean, anything would be a plus. I think he would. I mean, what he died in 1968? That's
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
what, like 60, 70 years. I mean, we came a pretty long way. Maybe, I think it'd be all right, you know, for what he saw. But I mean, not saying he won't strive for more, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Lady Alva, what's your opinion?
I think he would be pleased and knowing that progress was made. Those key points that he had put into his speech, the courage to even have a speech like that at that time is
Right,
just magnificent.
right.
you know, but I think he would be pleased with that. And then I think he would be disappointed also. And the disappointment would be on our side.
Yes, agreed,
Mm-hmm.
agreed. I feel like to piggyback off your answer, that he would be happy with the state of the racial equality because there was so much disparity back then. African Americans had to, you still have to, but African Americans back then wasn't even seen in certain jobs. At least now you will see us in certain outfits that you didn't see us in before, um, carrying certain titles that you wouldn't see us before. It seems to be a little bit more diversity in the workplace than you would see before, and as far as the hierarchy within the workplace as well. Um, so I think those things is definitely something that he could be appreciative of. But I think absolutely correct. I think the direction of the black community, and the lack of unity within the black community, I think that is something that he would be disappointed in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. What aspects of Dr. King teaching would you say is still relevant today?
Uh, Fighting without violence.
Mm, yes,
Because he
sir.
would hold up. No, yeah, that was him. Because the other nigga, that was Malcolm X. So that nigga wanted to beat you up. Yeah, so yeah.
It's necessary.
Hey. Yeah, so I would say that. And sometimes you gotta put your hands on people though. So, I ain't saying I fully support it, but sometimes you gotta put your hands on people just to get your point across. You gotta kill them, but but yeah, I think that still goes on. I think it works sometimes. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Lady Alva, what is your opinion? What aspects of Dr. King's teaching are still relevant today?
The power of I have a dream.
Yeah.
The
mm,
which is the manifestation of your desire of what you want to come good. Um this with this faith, or in, what did you say it? In this faith. That's
In
still
this space.
resonant today.
Yeah,
It's important. Mhm.
absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I agree with you. I think just plain and simple, his biggest mission, which is just equality for all. For
Mhm.
to be judged by the content of my character rather than the color of my skin. I think that is something that it is still prevalent today, and I think that is one of his most significant lines out of his "I Had a Dream" speech that people are often remember or do speeches and dialect or educate off of. So yeah, absolutely. To be able to judge someone by the content of their character and not simply by the color of their skin.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Can I
Absolutely.
piggyback off of that?
Yes, ma'am.
You saying that just hit it, just put the nail in the wall of when I said how he would be, and you in agreement too, and expounded on that yourself, but you just added another the layer of it of how he would possibly, let's say, because only he can say, but
Right.
so that he would be disappointed on our side
Yes, ma'am.
because we've significantly failed and continue to fail at displaying the proper character of ourselves.
Ooh, say so.
Hmm.
Say so. I mean, people, the young generation, I really think they need to open up the books and learn, how well articulate we were, how well diverse we were in education, um, and how we strive to become doctors and inventors and what so have you. So it's just a disappointing to see us go in this direction. You know what I mean? When we have so many people to look up to. I mean, not trying to be, not trying to knock any other culture, but a lot of things that we use today, is a benefit off of the black inventor.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? And now we don't even know that we can be astronauts. Now we don't even believe that we can, be quartermasters. You know what I mean? Or a fucking pilot or a president. You know what I mean? We don't see too many people in these spaces. How many black governors do you know right off the top? How many black senators do you know right off the top? And what are their policies? What do they stand for? We don't educate ourselves on our people that is, making a change in this world or educating themselves or being like one of the top billionaires is a black man. A lot of people don't know that. You know what I mean? So it's like, uh, it's just things that we are not as versed on. I just wish that we would educate ourselves and unite ourselves and be a solid, united front.
Well, you know, where do we start from with that? So I'm asking that, and I'm gonna give my answer just because there's so many ways you can start and do that, and I want the younger people and the generations to come to know. Educate yourselves doesn't always mean to hit the books. It can seriously and mainly start from the language you speak, how you speak, how we characterize ourselves individually, and how we characterize each other. We struggle in that because as we want educate yourselves, but yet we are uneducating ourselves with how we characterize one another
Hmm.
through our language.
Okay. All right. Nothing profound on that. Systematic racism in today's society. In what ways do you see systematic racism manifesting in today's institutes? Excuse me, institutions.
All right. I like that. It's the same. It's the same story. The tune is just a little different.
Mm.
The ink on the wall is the stain is the same. It just changes in ways as we evolve in life. So that only certain things, I mean, cannot come back at all. I feel like is impossible. But it's still a way where they put in these wedges or these bars to hold us back.
Mm.
And sometimes it's very subliminal, and many of us don't realize it. And we eat the subliminal apple like it's okay, and then we caught up. Now we're partaking in that systematic racism,
Mm.
like it's okay. So for me, that's all I have to give on that because these things are always going to be there.
Mm.
Um, I don't think any of us can give a certain data, but as far as the amount of work we put in, it should be over in 100 years. I
Right.
believe that it's just part of our plight in our life
Mm. Mm.
until it's not.
Until it's not.
I agree with her. Just to piggyback off that real quick, I think it's gonna always be there. It's just gonna be different as time goes. It'll be different, maybe lessen,
Mm.
or just different in a certain type of way, but I feel like it's just gonna always be there.
Right, right, right. I believe I have to agree with both of y'all in saying that it will always be there. I feel like until we make the change, you know what I'm saying, there will be no change. Um, so in that regard, until everybody's acknowledge what it is, only then will we be able to find a solution for it. We have a lot of people who disagree or is blind to the fact and won't accept the fact that systematic racism definitely does exist. Oftentimes, when you have my color of hue, you understand and see more than you may see if you are not of a darker complexion. Coming from my background and coming from my own experience, and I can only speak from my own perspective and no one else's. I've seen countless accounts where systematic racism exists, and how it is manifested. It is, I feel like, it's mostly within the criminal system, within the justice system. You often see our white counterparts with the same rap sheet getting lesser time, if not any time, for the same equivalent crimes, if not less, more violent crimes than their African American counterparts. And it seems like the African American counterparts typically get more time for petty crimes. Um, Also, you will often see um, minorities being gunned down by the police, and you know the police get off with just a slap on the wrist. And most of the times you see videos where our white counterparts are attacking the police and being malicious towards the police, or threatening the police and putting the police lives at risk, and then they find ways to diffuse the situation, de-escalate the situation without that white counterpart ending up unalive. So I think when we see those type of scenarios play out over and over again, we can say that there's some type of systematic racism within the justice system. I think it goes to the same things if you go to disparity in the primarily black communities when it comes to education versus the advantages and the incentives that schools get that are in predominantly white neighborhoods.
Mm.
So when it can go to off where to getting it approved for loans, getting approved for a job, and healthcare. I feel like a lot of times when you look like me, you may not get the proper healthcare if you look like someone else. So it's multiple avenues and organizations and different ways, and just in a day-to-day life that African Americans are experiencing different forms of systematic racism.
Mm.
Moving right along, what steps could individuals take to combat systematic racism in their own communities?
Well, you already answered that actually, because you said just to start, you got to accept the fact that it exists. Like you said, for starters, you got to start there, and then like you got to have like-minded people around you, or get them to at least believe in what you're preaching,
Mhm.
and it'd be the people close to you, which is your community. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Lady Howard, what's your opinion on that?
Agreed. You have to know that it exists and know the particles or the variables of it existing. And you have to draw up a plan of how do we pour our energy, our life into to diffuse this, to put a stop to it. and know that it's not going to happen overnight, because it hasn't happened overnight yet. So, but we have progressed. So we see that we can still progress, but you have to have a plan to keep the progression going. And a specific plan, to me, is about how you're going to operate in this systematic racism system. Not how you're going to get them first and foremost, because you can't make anybody do anything, but you start with yourself. And that plan, starting with yourself, needs to be that perfect puzzle pieces that can shift the atmosphere, which means it's going to shift you in time. But you got to show up with that virtue. You got to show up with that authority. You have to show up with that candor. You have to show up with that intellectual level. You have to show up that way. Can't be sloppy at all. You have to show up with the idea to win. And that relates to Martin Luther King. I have a dream.
I hear you, Shawty.
There you go. To give my answer to this question, what steps can individuals take to combat systematic racism in their communities? I think the biggest thing that you can do is dress how you want to be addressed. It says the statement is to judge me by the content of my character rather than the color of my skin. So you gotta have some type of character for me to judge. You know, if you hold yourself with integrity, that is the biggest thing. But if you have an integrity, then that means you care about your appearance. So there goes my saying, dress how you want to be addressed. You know, if you want someone to treat you like a thug, then you go ahead and put thug attire on. If you want somebody to treat you like a hoe, excuse my French, you put a hoe attire on. If you want somebody to treat you like a businessman, guess what? You put a businessman attire on. If you want somebody to treat you of elegance, of a class, then you need to look like elegance. You need to look like class. And I feel like we cannot expect someone to treat us higher than we respect ourselves. If I come into this place with my pants down low, you know, with myself ungroomed and talking belligerent, how can I expect someone to respect me and to take me serious when obviously I don't respect myself? So I think that these are ways that individuals can combat systematic racism by just giving them something positive to see. Give them a positive example of what you're trying to represent. Because if you're giving them the exact status, not status, but if you're giving them the exact stereotype of what they already assume you to be, if you checking off all the lists of what someone told them Black people are, you know what I mean, then you are contributing to the systematic racism.
Can I piggyback off that?
Yes, ma'am.
So and I agree 100. And I think we all stumble in that. We all are guilty of that. You know, at very different times or circumstances that even provoke us to let down that character and become a little messy or nitty gritty, if you will. But if we're really serious about that and speaking that, then we have to uphold that bar. So that really means, gentlemen, you got to call women properly. Women, you got to call men properly. You can't be, oh, well, that's how it is in the hood, or we jiving it. No. You got to keep the bar up. Because it's a cost. The cost that it's a price, a high price that, or did I not saying it right? Help me out, mister, because you know what I'm trying to say with that. The cost is too high. That's what I'm trying to say.
Man, it's too expensive.
And that's when we feel like, oh, we not getting nowhere. We going back. Well, we're all accountable for that. Yes, because every little piece of the puzzle matters.
It's not full. It's not complete until we got all pieces.
There you go.
Yes, ma'am.
That's right.
Ma'am. You are absolutely right, and I got to get better at that too. You know, what I mean, just like just in my own verbiage. You know, the other show we was talking the other night, and we was talking loosely in canon, and I always listen to our show the next day on the audio version. And I just kept hearing myself refer to women as bitches, 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 and I was like, damn, I really got to fix that. You know what I mean? Because I am with five queens, and I'm sitting here saying bitches, 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 but it was so trained, you know what I mean, that I didn't even catch it during the show. You know what I mean? So, you know, and I was just discussing with myself as many times as I had said it and referred to the women in that way. You know what I mean? So you are absolutely right. You know,
Yeah. And that's good that you do that. You hold yourself accountable. You listen. If you didn't listen to yourself when you speaking it, but then you go back and listen to yourself when you think about it, you know what you said. If it's not audio where you can actually listen to it, then you reflect on it, because stumbles will happen. It's important. Just recognize, be aware of yourself and say, oops, well, I still got work to do to get there. I like this thing that I say. You go in a forest, it's 1,000 banana trees. Now you that's the old banana trees. What you just said, like you conditioned, you trained that way. Now you come into a newness, you got to peel them banana trees. And that takes 1,000 banana trees. How many bananas on it? How many peelings you got to go through? It's work every day. It's consciousness every day.
yes,
Don't
ma'am.
give up.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
We should
Hey.
always be striving for the best version of ourselves. Absolutely.
Yes.
What you got for me, BU?
So we can't say bitches?
Look, Lady, I was gonna say, if you're talking about a
Look.
female dog, sure, because that's what it applies to. You can say bitch,
Okay.
but it applies to a
Okay.
female dog.
listen. You know how I'm coming. You know what I'm saying? I'm never gonna tell nobody what they can and what they cannot do. You know what I mean?
I just want, I was just asking.
I can only speak for me, in my perspective. So for me, you know, I want to refrain from saying that. You know, having
I don't think I'd say it that much anyway.
five queens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, that's just something that I noticed
We
about
can leave
myself.
that one out. We can leave that one out.
Listen, moving right along, ladies and gentlemen. You know, sometimes we get beside ourselves over here. Progress since the civil rights movement. Do you believe that we've made significant progress as a civil rights movement? Why or why not?
I think so. I mean, it's obvious. Like, look at it. Look at the times. Like, look at our kids. Our kids don't see color. But now they barely see like each other because fucking the electronics. But like, I think. I mean, yeah, I think we came a long way, and it's obvious. We got longer to go, but it's obvious.
Absolutely. One will have to concur.
Aye.
One would have to concur, and I think it has definitely been some significant progress. I mean, no one can say that it hasn't. You know, the fact that there's a lot more mixed individuals and interracial relationships should let you know that there's been some type of shift in the movement. A lot of these men who may have grown up racist or had old philosophies now have mixed children or mixed grandkids, so you know and it's hard to say that you're gonna hate your grandbaby her whole life because she's a different hue than you. A lot of people are coming around, so and waking up, and a lot of things are being portrayed in other people's faces to where they have to see it, and I think a lot of people more now do. um as many as people are still treating us, poorly, based off the color of our skin, there's a lot of people from other ethnicities, especially the white community, that see our plight and like, hey, look, I'm just letting you know, look, none of that shit going on over here. You know what I mean? I see your struggle. I see your plight. You know what I mean? And I don't agree with it. You know, so I feel like you have a lot more allies now within the community than you used to before.
Mhm.
I think we all could agree to that, right?
Yes.
Hey, you want to know what's crazy? Yesenia, her dad was racist.
Who's
And
he?
like Yesenia, like my kid's mother. You know
Okay.
Yesenia. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I did just brain fog.
Now he got all black gray kids.
Oh, wow.
It just be like that
and
sometimes.
he loves them. He loves them. But
Mm.
sometimes you got to go through that just to see,
If you got any love in you, man, it's kind of hard to not love something that come from you. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the thing in life. You go through things for a reason, and then it's up to you to what you're going to do about that thing you went through. And this question, I think, is a good, really, really good question. When I saw it, I thought about it, because all things are significant, but understanding in where you're coming from with it, we have to be mindful to the significance of what is significant. Because certain things that have the qualities where that's a shift. That's a shift right there in the atmosphere. This is a piece of the puzzles that made a move or brought the move to shift. So when something happens, like I thought it was very significant when we got a black president.
Yes, ma'am.
That was significant, and it will remain significant. You understand? Not getting into the debate of what he did or what he didn't get accomplished and all of that. Also, what was significant about Barack Obama running for that position is the intellectual mind that he gave us, the delivery, his character that he gave us in his speaking. Very significant. Shouting out really to the black people. Do you understand? It shifted the atmosphere. So we should definitely pay mind to that and grab onto that, because when we have those significant moments, that's the moment that we can move a lot of other things. It's like you have a dream, and then that's in your dream, but then you wake up and you see the angel that was literally in your dream. That's significant.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and I think that that goes right into our next question. The next question was, what are some recent events that demonstrate positive progression and setbacks in the fight for equality? And us having a biracial president that was African American definitely was a significant progress. Can you think of another one, BU?
I'll think of a setback. What the setback would be, everybody trying to get back at us for getting Obama in office. Right. So the setback was that they said Trump.
Right.
I mean,
right.
There you have it.
He said, "There you have it."
But
And I said I agree with Trump, or I disagree with Trump, but I mean that was the retaliation.
That was the retaliation, right? Right.
Now I have a view on that. Once something is accomplished, you can't be set back.
Okay, I like the way
You
you
have
said
things that present itself to where it's clear that, oh, this has come, or you have come to set me back. But if you know what is accomplished and you hold on to that and you living in that, it's nothing here that you can't set it back.
Right.
You can throw some stain on it, but you can't set it back because it's already done. Okay. We have a choice. We have to move in those choices like that. When that, to not allow it. That's sometimes people, oh, we ain't getting nowhere. Stop that. Stop that. It was wasn't it over COVID? What were people saying? a word that I couldn't believe they were saying. It's an old racist term. I couldn't believe it. I said, huh?
Did it start with an N?
No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't one of your. It wasn't one of your favorites.
Okay. Just checking.
No, I can't get it out, but it's a very prejudicial term. But you know, you don't speak into. Sometimes you don't give things power, so don't speak it. You see it's happening. You see the agenda, but okay, y'all do your work, but it ain't gonna move nothing here because it's already accomplished. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my view on that and my belief on that, and I stand on that. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Respect.
Also, can I just say too, the other gains is the major gains in Black political positions.
Mm-hmm.
We've that's huge too. That's really significant.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. I think the progress would be like you to piggyback off what you're saying. To piggyback off both of y'all, actually. You, Lady Hour first. I think some of the gains is exactly what you said. It's some of the doors that have been opened, that were closed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And obstacles have been removed that was once there. I think that is the progress that the African American community or civil rights movement has made. But I also think some of the setbacks would be to divert the division. I feel like if you look at us in the 80s, we were solid and we moved as a unit. You know, look how many of us was on the Capitol. Look how many of us marched 52 miles, you know, from Selma to Birmingham or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we can get all of us to make that move now. You know, they went on a boycott and didn't ride a bus for a whole year to make some things happen. You know what I mean? And took care of each other and got each other to where they needed to go, so they didn't have to use the transit system of the community. So that type of unity, you know, I don't see us having right now. And I hope that I'm speaking poorly when I say that. So, you know, that would be the setback that I see. I see too many of us killing each other instead of pulling each other up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, we're in competition with each other.
Right. Yeah.
And it's sad because it seems like oftentimes, you know, my Black counterparts, it seems like they would rather take authority from a white man than me. Like, you okay with the white man telling you what to do, but I be damned if I'm somebody that look like you tell you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that goes back to, you know, us being conditioning from when some of us were given power to overthrow us, to rule over us in slavery time. You know what I mean?
It is the slave mentality.
You know, I think that's what created the division. You know what I mean? We look at that like, oh, you know what I'm saying? The master like you, he favor you, you know what I'm saying? And you get privileges that I don't have, you know, so I don't like you now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's kind of the mentality that we have, you know. So I would love to see that done away with. You know, I would love to see us get into a position where we actually are pulling each other up and realizing that we're only going to get somewhere if we get somewhere together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is going to happen until we make it happen collectively. You know, when you get enough of us moving in the right direction, you're going to have a powerful movement. Can't nobody stop it.
Power in numbers.
It's strength in numbers, absolutely. So I think when we realize that, you know, it's 2-3% of the world, billionaires make a lot of the say so of what goes on in the world. And I feel like when the world catch on to that and actually understand that, look, we are the numbers. You know, money is an illusion. Once we put our mind to do something and move, everybody else ain't got no choice but to make some happen, to make some things happen. So to make a change, you have to make some changes, and it's time for us to make some changes.
Exactly, because that's what we do as in our humanity anyway. Whatever's going on and popular here, then people gravitate to that. But why, if we can gravitate to so much negativity, imagine what we can do if we gravitate to all that's positive.
Yeah, man, but we gotta keep you divided. We gotta have y'all saying, "Oh, look, you don't dress like this person, you don't look like that person, you don't have the financial stability he do, you don't have the intellectual capacity that he has." You know, they find, "Oh, you don't like the same sex that he does, you don't look the same way, you know, you don't talk the same way." They find ways to create um, division amongst us so that we can be at each other instead of pulling together. Absolutely. Future with Dr. King. How do you envision the world would be if Dr. King was still alive?
Oh, you got this, BU?
Mm. I don't. I think his death sparked more than like if he didn't die. Yeah, I'm going off a limb with this. Bear with me. If he didn't die, like I think his death sparked more of an impact than him like still being alive. And like it sucks to say he had to die for change to happen, but that's pretty much what happened because he didn't get to see the change, actually, to be honest. But it would be dope to see what I'm pretty sure would eventually happen, but I think it happened like right after he died. Change started happening. Civil rights acts, laws came into play, everything like that. So
Oh man,
that's my educated answer.
sounds like the sacrificial lamb.
So silly.
Yeah. Hey man, that was a good ass fucking answer though. That was absolutely correct. You basically saying like, as much as we want to think what it would be like if Dr. King was alive, in all actuality, his death meant so much more. And sometimes we have to die before we can live.
hmm
I think it would have been better progress
Mm.
as far as us as a whole,
Okay.
because he was a leader for us,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
he was not cowering down to nothing less but the leadership that he had got inside of him to do based upon his worldview,
Hmm.
and I think we would have been more intact because we people need that. Everyone needs a leader, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And what Martin Luther King, if he was still living, I think we would have been more intact because we would have had someone to be that example consistently, show us, and we'd have been on the train.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am. I like that answer. I
He
like.
might have been our first black president if he stayed alive though.
There you
Mhm.
go. I agree with you, and I think that goes into our next question. What role do you think Dr. King will play in today's social society? Yeah.
That's my answer. Black president.
There
There we go.
you go. What about you, Lady Albert?
Um, that's possible, but I don't look. He was a reverend first.
Hmm.
So he might have just stayed in that position. I can't call it because once you are in the position in God's kingdom, whatever that task and work you have to do, you can't just throw it down.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
Martin Luther King being so strong in that himself, I see that he would have just been more of a soldier in the kingdom of God. Now, where the soldier would have been elevated to, it could have been presidential. I don't know. It could have been something more that didn't even need to be presidential because it's going to be too powerful here. So that's it.
Yeah. 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 He definitely was. He definitely had power without having that role.
Hmm.
We
Hmm.
still talk about Dr. Martin Luther King today. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Now, how do you feel about Dr. Martin Luther King, um, Booker T. Washington, Frederick Douglass, and W.B. Du Bois? How do you feel about all of these intellectual figures being removed from education now, and Black history not being taught in the schools. That's not a part of the curriculum. That they're not they stripping teaching our kids about Dr. Martin Luther King. How do y'all feel about that?
I don't like it. I mean, obviously, we just gonna talk about just like what white people and Native Americans. That's it. Like
No,
those
no,
people
no,
wasn't.
no, no, no. They stripping anything about Native Americans as well.
They stripping Native Americans too.
Hmm.
So it's just white people.
Brown people, that's what it seemed like. People that are melanin.
Yeah, I don't like it then. Yeah, so no. What the fuck? Yeah, that's how I feel. I don't like
I
it.
mean, they're trying to basically. I hate to use this term.
They're
but
trying to delete our
They're
history.
trying to whitewash history.
Yeah. No, I don't.
Yeah,
That's why what Lady Eva said earlier, self-education.
self-education. Yeah, my daughter's book does not say that we were ever in slavery. It doesn't say anything about the Atlantic slave trade. It says that Black people came here voluntarily and were indentured servants for the white settlers uh, in the beginning of America. That's what it says. Yeah,
Wow.
and it says that the Indians gave up their land.
They didn't just come take
And
it.
they don't call them Indian. They just said the native people gave up their land.
The native.
Gave up their land.
Oh yeah, here you go. No.
I can't make this shit up, y'all. Read your kids' books, man. This is what your grandkids and your kids being taught if they are in elementary right now.
That's crazy.
Check it out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
I have what you said and what they are doing and what they have done. I want to do some more due diligence about that. And I just did a quick search. And it does come up. I just asked, are they removing Black history from the schools? I just want to make sure we're accurate on this, especially but it says that there isn't a universal removal of Black history, but rather significant state level restrictions and debates over how it's taught, with some laws banning discussion of systematic racism, often linked parentheses to critical race theory, leading to a chilling effect on educators, while other states mandate Black history but struggle with implementation, creating confusion and tension around curriculum, particularly regarding sensitive topics like slavery's impact. So, and then there's more, they break it down. So for me, to really accurately answer the question, because I've heard these and listened to some of the reports, and when I've heard, I kind of think, and I'm hoping that it is right. It may not be displaying that way where it's understood that way, but I think it's just bringing us into just dealing with our humanity. When we keep, because that is part of kind of separatism or division in itself. You know, when do we get to the point, and I think we should get to the point and just focus on our humanity, not taking away the history, but the focus doesn't have to always be about that. It needs to be about our humanity, no matter what your race, creed, or color is, and how we treat one another. So that's my pessimistic view on that, within all the confusion. But it can bring a quality for us to make sure we teach our children, because it's those leaders that you mentioned, Mister. The work is done, the work is written. Libraries still exist. It opens up the door to get to the libraries more. Send your kids to the library. Utilize that, and we teach it, and not have this deep dependency, which we have become, just for the school system to teach. And that's all, that gives us a shift to focus on things that we need to be focused on, raising our Black and brown children and not leaving it up to the institution solely to do it. It brings us up. It grows us up. Yeah, I think so.
I like the way you said that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No argument there, lady. I like how you put that, and I preach that to in my own self, in my own home. That the school should not be the only place that our kids is learning.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, and I think that goes right into our last questions. How important is education, fighting inequality? How can education be used as a tool to combat inequality and promote understanding?
I think what I just said kind of applies to that right there. But I say less.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like exactly what you said. Educating ourselves. And like I said earlier, when you have integrity, when you carry yourself with dignity, it's kind of hard for somebody, even if somebody had misjudged you, had a prejudgment about you. First impression is everything. When you open up your mouth with kindness, what I'm saying, to combat whatever type of negativity is thrown at you, it transfers that energy. It changes how a person want to deal with you. If a person wanting to come off ugly, but you say, "Hey, how you doing, sir? How you doing today?" And you do it with a bubbly and a smile, even if you want to be ugly and grumpy, you done transferred that energy. But educating ourselves, education on the highest level, is self-education to me, because I feel like you are getting educated only in an institution, you're only subject to what your teacher knows.
Mm-hmm.
You're only subject to what that book said. So I feel like always do your own research, fact check the fact check. That way when you speak correct. And that way can no one handle you. I feel like when you are miseducated, it's easy for someone to misuse you or to give you misinformation. You know what I'm saying? But when you are educated and self-educated, can't no one play with you or handle you any type of way because of your intellect. Knowledge is power.
Yeah. And I need to correct something because I used the wrong word and maybe y'all didn't catch it. Instead of pessimistic view, it should be
Optimistic. I got
there
you.
you go. He got
I got
there
you.
you
I'm
go.
picking up what you're putting down.
Maybe you would have came out with it somewhere without me
Yeah.
saying it. They corrected me, but there you go.
Yeah. Optimistic. I knew exactly what you meant. Yes, ma'am. Now back to your original statement, which you was talking about earlier when you were saying the school was removing it. I'm gonna ask you the last question is what role do you think schools should play in teaching about systematic racism and its history? Now you said they was removing that. Martin Luther King is part of that systematic racism history. Do you think that it's important to remove anything of Martin Luther King, of anything of inequality, of us fighting for our the things that we have and rights that we have now? Do you think it's important for our young Black kids not to know that?
Nope.
No, and well, do I think it's important for them not to know that? No, it's not right. No, what you said, it's not important for them to not know it.
Right.
It's important for them to know it. And in that reading, it said it's how it's being taught. But and I did see a little bit of the some of the educational professionals are not necessarily in agreement with that. I think all things need to be taught because all things have an effect on our lives, have significance to it. It gives us a lot of whence we come from to now, or even how to solve and all of those things when Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree with nothing you said.
Mm-hmm.
Moving right along, ladies and gentlemen, we're just gonna close out our segment on Martin Luther King. Shouts out to Martin Luther King. His birthday had just passed, ladies and gentlemen. Lady Alva is gonna run through them fun facts and celebrity birthdays for today, January 19th. Shout out to all my January 19th birthdays. Um, it's been a wrap of them Capricorns and move right into them Aquariuses. Yes, yes, yes. The best
Oh
sign of them
Lord,
all.
A wrap for them
Lord,
Capricorns.
here we
Happy
go.
birthday to my Capricorn twins. All right. So, fun art facts and historical art events, January 19th. Birth of Edgar Allan Poe, renowned for his poetry and short stories. Poe was born on January 19th, 1809, influencing the literary world profoundly. National Popcorn Day, celebrated on January 19th. This day highlights the cultural significance of popcorn, often featured in art and film. True indeed. Inauguration of President Richard Nixon. Nixon was inaugurated on January 20th, 1969, which had a significant impact on political art and protest movements during that era. The birth of Paul Cézanne, the father of modern art. Cézanne was born on January 19th, 1939, influencing countless artists with his unique approach to color and form. Marcel Duchamp's Fountain. Wait. Okay, that's his name. Marcel Duchamp's Fountain. This groundbreaking artwork was first exhibited on January 19th, 1917, challenging the traditional definitions of art. I don't know about that. I want to look that one up. Opening the Museum of Modern Art, MoMA, MoMA, opened its doors on January 19th, 1929, becoming a beacon for modern art in the United States. Birth of Jan van Eyck. I think I'm pronouncing that right, or is it Ike? Be you the words pronunciation scholar?
We say act. Just go with the flow.
Okay. This early Netherlandish painter is believed to have been born on January 19th, 1390, known for his detailed oil paintings. Launch of the Art for the People movement. This movement began on January 19th, 1969, aiming to make art accessible to everyone. Birth of Dolly Parton. While primarily known for her music, Parton has made significant contributions to the arts and is an icon of American culture. The opening of Louvre Pyramid on January 19th, 1989, the glass pyramid structure was inaugurated, transforming the Louvre and its accessibility. There we go.
There we go. There we go. Before we get up out of here, do y'all have something positive for the people, man?
Today is the day to dream. I had a dream.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that.
I like
I
that.
like that. Today
Yeah.
is a dream, baby. I had a dream.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Lady Alva, what you got for me?
I find it that I'm pleasured, and it's a privilege to be able to speak in this manner about Dr. Martin Luther King, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got for the people.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude this episode of Motion Monday, as we reflect on Dr. Martin Luther King and his powerful legacy, and his teachings remind us that the fight for equality and justice is always ongoing, and each of us have a role to play. Thank you for joining us in today and exploring these vital topics. Remember that combating systematic racism and inequality requires collective effort. So let's keep the dialogues alive. You feel me?
I
You
feel
feel me?
Yes. Hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, to tell a friend that Art for Change is in, baby. We go live on Mondays, on Thursdays, and on Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Hey, you might catch us in between the week. So this is why you got to hit that bell so that you know when we go live. Because sometimes we may go live in the middle of the week. It's only based on if we have an artist that may have a particular schedule, or if one of the hosts has something going on the next day. So we try to do at least 3 shows a week, ladies and gentlemen, and we appreciate all of our listeners and all of our followers. And to show our appreciation, if you go over to our Instagram page, the official Art for Change podcast, go to our highlight section. We have some discount for you in between 10 to 15% on the highlight. If you go to Molly B's on her website, she has artisan cookies, all different type of cookies. They come right to your door within 2 to 3 days. They are delicious, melt in your mouth. They are very inexpensive, and guess what? You get 10% off the entire website just for being an Art for Change listener. Just make sure that your promo on the way out is Art for Change, and you will get 10% off your entire order. Same thing with Old Glory. They have the most fire graphic designer gear, and for all type of fan base attire. Listen, they have over 30,000 items on their website. And you get the entire website for 15% off. Just make sure Art for Change is in your promo on checkout. Also, man, you eat them cookies, you got to have something to wash it down with. So go ahead to get you some oxygenated water. Just go to Patriot Water, 10% off their entire website. They give you 32-ounce bottles straight to your door. Nice package, man. Delicious water, man. And if you type of me, I like cleanness next to godliness. So I like the best thing for my body, baby. So Patriot Water, 10% off. Art for Change is in the promo on checkout, baby. Thank me later. Until next time, baby. Art for Change, gang. Be blessed, and we out. Peace.
Mhm.